joined by Kentucky head coach Mark Pope and a special guest.
Jay.
Does she have a statement or anything she wants to say?
No, Jay's the director of analytics for Kentucky men's basketball. So any analytical questions will go straight to her.
Questions for Coach, please.
Hey, Coach, Rich Rovito from Associated Press. You and Brad Underwood, kind of the same situation. You had faced with a complete roster overhaul. It looks like your two gleaming success stories about how to do this on short notice. Losing an entire roster would have been devastation years ago, but how were you able to find success in doing that roster overhaul that way?
A roster overhaul is just, it's really interesting because it's a terrifying process. But as a, especially as a first-year coach, it's an incredible opportunity also. The terrifying part is that you have 0 players on your roster and you're expected to go win huge, right? The exciting part is that you get to start from scratch and kind of really hand select every single piece to try and fit together. And so there's no, you're not forcing any square pegs into round holes. And so I think it's one of the challenges of coaching now that I find incredibly exciting and challenging and dynamic, and it's you know, we'll see how it goes over the course of time. But this year it's been really fun for us, and we were really blessed to, you know, put together a group of guys that are great players and even better people, and it's what makes it so fun. And so we're hoping that we can run it back over and over and over again. We'll see how that goes.
Jesse Temple, The Athletic. Mark, a lot of your players have described your positivity as a coach, and some of them, it's not something they've been used to with some previous coaches. Where do you think that comes from? Why is that an important asset in putting a team together and building them up?
Shay would be like, my dad is not positive. He grounded me last week. Yeah. Is that true?
I am grounded.
You didn't have to fess up to the grounding. I don't know that I have a great answer for you. I think that I've had the greatest mentors in all of basketball. I mean, I've been exposed to the greatest coaches, from my high school coach Rich Belcher to, you know, my first college coach Lynn Nance to Rick Pitino, to the great Larry Bird, and, you know, along the way Billy Donovan and you know, a whole slew of incredible coaches. And, you know, I'm leaving out 25 coaches that have been so great. You know, I got to work for Dave Rose at BYU, which was one of my great teachers and mentors, and I've been really blessed. I think that my life view, most of it comes from my faith, and I'm a believer, and that just makes you see the world different. It really does. I think the world I think it's actually real, that the world is what we see and what we look for. I think that we're active creators in the world that we live in. I mean, I really believe that. I believe that if we really want to see the goodness in the world, if we work hard, we can see it. I really believe we can see it, right? I think that my faith is a foundational principle, is gratitude, and I think it's really hard to not be positive, not be joyful, not be happy if you work really hard at gratitude. I mean, if we all take the time in our day to sit down and start listing the things that we can be grateful for, starting from the very basic level, how can we not love life and be so incredibly full of joy and positivity? Because it's just miracle after miracle. You know, just the fact that we get to wake up every morning. You know, I'm giving you a long answer because I actually love this. I believe in this. You guys have heard this kind of story of, you know, if I gave you $10 million right now, would it make you happy? And most would be like, yeah, I would take that in a second. No strings attached. Are you kidding? And if I said, well, here's the deal. If I was going to give you $10 million today, or you could wake up tomorrow, which would you choose? And you would choose to wake up tomorrow, right? And so waking up tomorrow is worth way more than $10 million. That's a fact, and it's a reality. It's just sometimes we don't actually take the time to look at it and understand it that way. And when we actively do that, I think our lives get really, really good, really, really fast. And so I think that I want my guys to be challenged. I want them to face all of the struggles and trials and adversity that this game and this experience can offer them, because it gives them a chance to grow. But I also want them every single day to remember how blessed they are to have the opportunity to wake up to be basketball players at the University of Kentucky. It's just incredible. And so, I don't know, I love it, man. I love the whole thing, and it's not hard. It's not hard to find joy in life.
Mark, Darrell Bird with the Catskills, Lexington. Bear with me a sec. When all the years I covered John Calipari at Kentucky, you could count on 6'3" point guards. And I remember asking him, why break something that works for a 5'9" Tyler Eulis? He said, because he has the heart of a lion. Correct me if I'm wrong, please. When I look at you guys, if I was to build a player, I'm thinking three-point shooter extraordinaire, great passing, so on, so on. I look at your roster, and I think the one guy who doesn't fit but it clearly works is Ortega. Is that right? And if so, why would you be drawn to him?
Well, Ortega's shooting 36% from the three-point line right now. He's pretty good, right? I think Ortega is you know, I would probably echo. I think every coach in America would echo the same thing, and that is that, you know, certainly we want to find players that have certain capabilities and attributes that fill certain areas of the stat sheet, that have certain skill level. But when it comes down to the game gets way simpler. You know, I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret. None of us coaches are really rocket scientists, right? It's pretty, you know, you got to go really guard, you got to really rebound the ball, and you got to, you know, share it. And it probably doesn't get a lot more technical than that. But you have to have guys that want to show up every single day. That'll show up every single day to work. And Otega Owe, if you think about his greatest skill, I mean, from a statistical space, like that you can grab, the data you can grab, he lasted longer than any player in all of Power 4 conferences in terms of being consistent every single game and being a double-figure scorer, without me running a ton of actions for him or him getting a ton of extra shots. And so the fact that he brings it every single day and wants to compete every single day, that's probably more important than any of the things that I might list on a sheet. Conveniently for us, he's doing all the things that you list on the sheet also. I mean, yesterday he was a 6-assist guy in a game where a really good Troy team, the reason they're really good is because they're so disruptive and so disorienting and so confusing with how they guard. And here Otega Owe is just leading us in assists. So he's been brilliant in all those ways.
Forrest Tucker, WTVQ in Lexington. Mark over here. I know you're a philosophical person. You're in uncharted territory going into a second-round game in the NCAA tournament. How have you personally approached the past 12 hours, and how are you going to approach the next 12?
Our life gets really simple right now. You know, it's just last night we dug in on a scout, kind of stayed there all night. This morning, met with the team, digging in on a scout this afternoon, had a really nice experience with our guys on the floor, and we'll go back and keep trying to figure out this terrific Illinois team. So it's in that sense, it gets really, really simple. It's one of the best parts of this year, aside from recruiting, which is constantly ongoing. You know, right now, everything else is just focused on the game, so it gets simple. Dave Rose, you know, I was really blessed to work for him and learn from him, and he talked about the blue dots on his calendar, that during the summer he'd have like 100 blue dots every single day, and then as the season, you know, as you started getting into postseason, all of a sudden all the blue dots are gone, and it's just hoops, so it's actually a fun time.
C.L. Brown with the Louisville Courier-Journal. Mark, how did the early season neutral site games, particularly playing Gonzaga and Seattle, help prepare you guys for tomorrow, where I'm assuming it's going to be a majority Illinois crowd?
Well, yeah, and we were really blessed. You know, the Gonzaga game was essentially a neutral road game, and so it felt very much like I think the gym will feel tomorrow. When we played, you know, we played Duke in Atlanta. It's Catlanta, so it was all Kentucky fans. But it's you know, we've also had great road games. You know, at Tennessee is a great environment. At Mississippi State's a great environment, and so it's our guys have been through this. You know, we're really blessed to have a really experienced lineup that feel this, and I think they love it. You know, we went and played at Missouri in a great environment, and we kind of, you know, our guys lead a lot of the pregame speeches, and so we got to the point. Well, I got to be careful with what I say. But there is that part, there is that real joy that you get from being in the gym and the gym getting really, really quiet. And our guys know that feeling and relish the opportunity to do that. And that'd probably be part of what our job is tomorrow.
Preston RVWOKY out of Louisville. Coach, when I spoke to Jackson the other day, he said he's not playing, but he's taking on more of a leadership role. How have you seen him kind of grow in that role, helping with the younger guys like Colin Chandler, who had a great game yesterday?
Jax is, you know, I mean, what an incredible young man he is, right? Such an amazing talent. It hurts me even to utter his name because I think about what could be happening right now. But what's really exciting is probably something bigger. It's actually probably better because Jax is becoming, you know, he had already become a great basketball player, and he'd already become a really, really resilient person. And now he's taking on a leadership / coaching role on this team where he's not just talking to our players, but he's coming up and talking to me. It was 2 games ago. All of a sudden, I'm standing up on the sideline. I got someone tapping me on the shoulder during live play. And I turn around, and my assistants don't even do it. And it's Jax. He's walked all the way down the court. He's like, Coach, you're not seeing this, right? He kind of gave me a couple pointers. And it's, you know, Jax has a father. He's got a mom and dad and an aunt, the greatest family in the world. But, like, to be one of those people that gets to up close watch him grow as a man and as a leader, it actually means more than probably anything, and he's doing that. And it's incredible to watch. Like, he's so different than the person he was 3 years ago. He's different as a human being. Like, he's different in how he sees the world. Like, he's different in how he takes in all this information and how he's able to respond to it. It's like the best thing ever. And so it was startling to have him come tap me on the shoulder, but, like, it's pretty cool. The problem is he's right, and then I'm like, man, he might be a better coach than me. And then you have all these personal complexes and the whole thing.
Mark, Sky Ritchie from the Champaign News-Gazette. With so few upsets in the first round, what do you make of this matchup among kind of the incredible slate today and tomorrow?
Now, how fun is this? I mean, it's just so fun. Like, it's just great. It's just every game's a great game, and it's great teams and great coaches and guys. You know, it just is. This event is awesome, and it's a special time to be a part of it.
Coach Dylan Ballard here with the Sea of Blue from Lexington. The folks here in Milwaukee have been great, but they kind of did you dirty, putting you, making you practice and have your press conference right in the middle of St. John's in Arkansas. You've talked about your respect for Coach Cal and, of course, your love for Pitino. What were your thoughts on that?
It's so good. You know, I mean, it's just like, it's what you want for March. I mean, you want the drama, you want the smoke, you want the headlines. It just is, it's a fun part of it. And you know, I love that part. You know, as a coach and as a player, you're kind of silencing all those things, and you're just staying focused on the moment. But you're also like, we're also all fans, you know? Like, I love it just as much as everybody else. I love the drama. I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see the post-game press conference, you know? And it's just, you know, we're all blessed by this game. We're all blessed by this incredible event of the NCAA tournament, and so I love every bit of it.
Mark, Aaron Gershon, Cats Pause in Lexington. You described last night as the roster being in tatters. I'm just wondering, as a coach, how impressed have you been with Lamont, Amari, all these guys gutting things out, especially in Lamont's case where he probably shouldn't even be playing? And then also, how much do you think they're motivated just by the bond they've built together?
Yep. Man, you say, like, you even bring up Lamont's name, like, fighting to play right now. Just, I have, like, an emotional reaction. Like, I feel it physically, right? You know, when we first brought Lamont in, we knew, like, I didn't know him, but I'd played against him every year and watched him and studied him, because you study these guys so deep in a scout. And we've said this since the day we started recruiting. He's just a winner. And right now he is, you know, there's probably zero reason why he should be able to be on the court right now. And he's just gutting it out, man. He's doing it for his team. I don't know if I've coached a player that is more determined and like more like of his soul is just like it will kill him to let down his guys. Like it'll kill him. Like it'll bring him to tears, like to ugly tears, to even the thought of letting down his guys. And so you have someone like that in your locker room, and you get someone like that on the court, and it's pretty special. And you know, I think I actually think he's going to be amazing tomorrow. And it's just how this game works. It's how it rewards you. And it's incredible that he's on the floor right now. I'm really proud of him.
Mark, circling back to Otega for just a second. Early in the year, probably one of his early big games, you said, sometimes I have to close my eyes and let Otega be Otega. What did you mean by that?
Well, we talk about that a lot as a staff. Otega has an unbelievable makeup ability. He's a rule breaker, but he's capable of breaking rules. And he's also growing his game. And maybe he's growing his game in a non-traditional way. And so yeah, like it's a very literal thing for me. Sometimes when things go wrong and they're not choreographed exactly the way I drew them up or I designed them or I taught them, I've learned that I just kind of got to like turn away and just be like, you know what? There's going to be something great with him right around the corner. And the reason that I believe that is because he keeps doing it. He keeps doing it over and over. And the truth is that he's able to do some things outside of the context of my normal expectation of a player of how they do it. And so I'm working hard to coach Otega, and Otega is also teaching me about what he can do that pushes the boundaries. And there's a give and take there. And I love that player-coach relationship. I actually think that's really important. I don't want him to only paint inside the lines, because that gets to be a really boring picture, right? I want him to be respectful and diligent and trusting of the concepts that are winning concepts, but I also want his creativity and his unique athleticism. And that's not just jumping high or running fast, but it's contorting his body and be able to do different things that normally might not be a great play for somebody else. Like, we're both learning together kind of where he can do that consistently and where he can't. And that process is really artistic more than it is scientific, and it's really fun. I think it's really beautiful, and I'm enjoying it. But it does take some restraint, because there are times when you're like, man, that just went bad, and if you just stayed within the confines that I draw for most guys, it wouldn't happen. But you would also lose out on the things that he can do that surprise me, right? And so it's really fun to work with guys like that.
So I know two guys have microphones. After that, we'll have to move on to the Illinois student athletes. Go ahead.
Mark Mathis, Owensboro Messenger Inquirer. With all the maneuvering y'all have had to do with the injuries and that kind of thing, is it an oversimplification to say this has been more, a next man up type deal for you all?
In a sense, no. But in a sense, it's like weaving pieces back together, right? It's not just like, it's not like a conveyor belt, but it's a beautiful kind of tapestry that we're trying to create. And these guys have been unbelievable doing it, and I'm really proud of them.
Last one.
Mark, Jeff Pecoro, ABC TV Lexington. Could you talk a little bit about your bigs, especially with the confidence it seems that Brandon has now, and how that kind of changes things for you?
Yeah, Brandon is I'm telling you, like, he's fun, right? I mean, he's sometimes wrong, but never in doubt. And I love that about him. That's what you want your players to be. And, he's doing really special things. I mean, his float game has grown to the free throw line. His three-point game is really, really dangerous right now. His decisiveness on turning down decisions to get to the good one. He's a huge high-level decision maker for us. He's got the ball in his hands. You guys will see him as we have three cutters going at the same time. He'll be like a turn down, a really probe, a turn down, and finally choose the right one. And that's advanced level, like, processing in his mind. He's been really great. Thanks, guys.
Coach, thank you. Good luck tomorrow.
Good job.
Illinois student athletes will be right up.